I love a good DIY handcrafted gift to give to a friend or loved one for any occasion. And if this is you, I've got a great idea for how to make a DIY journal to give to a friend or loved one, or make it with your friends. And you likely should have all the supplies at your house. Hi, I'm Krista, mom of 2, soon to be 3. We are at the month mark, people. And I love bullet journaling. A week or 2 ago, I gave myself the creative project to make/DIY 40 samples of mini custom bullet journals to send off to an event of a friend of mine. So it was super fun. I'm so grateful for that challenge, that creative challenge that I was able to get into. And I would basically say this is like my first step into the bookbinding world, which I'm really excited to explore more of. Took some trial and error, but I have a super simplified method for you if you are looking to make a cute DIY journal for a friend. So let's get to it. First of all, we've got to get rid of perfectionism whenever you're about to embark on a creative task, which is hilarious that I'm telling myself this, because normally when I think of an idea for like a craft or something I want to do, I'm immediately so excited to just like go to Hobby Lobby, buy everything, get all the supplies in the world to just like really make this idea come to life. And then I either don't start or finish the project or don't use the stuff. So get rid of your perfectionism, and when I do share the supplies with you, just like try and find supplies at your house. However, it's kind of funny because these 40 samples were like actually a legit project that I took on like for an event, and I still was like, okay, nope, we're not going to buy supplies, which actually made it like a really fun challenge. It was like almost leveled up the creativity of like, okay, well, what can I use that's like at my house? And like, it's really messy back here, but that's just because I haven't cleaned up from this yet, because I like knew I wanted to film this video. So just like all my like scraps and stuff are behind me. So let me show you the first 2 attempts, because like I said, this took trial and error. So they're both so cute. Here's my first attempt. Actually, I think this was my first attempt, but they're the same-ish idea. So like this one, I'm going to link the 2 videos that I found for these ones. So for this one, I had to print and cut the papers so they are not folded together, which is what I would suggest doing in a journal you make for someone. So what I don't love about that with this binding is that if I were to open it, it would not lay flat, and I'm a huge, like, my journals have to lay flat if I'm ever going to journal in them. So I loved this, but it didn't lay flat. And then this one, I'll link the video below, required like some glue that I didn't have, and I tried to sort of like use, like I said, some glue that I did have, but the pages inside, like, well, the bottom kind of stuck, but they just didn't really stick. So neither of these was like ideal. Well, this one I liked because it laid flat, but it wasn't really bound very good. And then this one was cute, but like wouldn't lay flat. I didn't like either of these. My third attempt was this one right here, which was pretty much / almost the winner. So for this one, I ended up folding the pages in half, so I didn't cut the pages in half and then have to like bind them together. They're folded in half, and then I actually used my sewing machine and just sewed down the middle. So if you have a sewing machine, you are welcome to do this. My sewing machine kind of bugged out / ran out of thread after about like 10 of these. So 10 of them were bound this way, which I think is pretty cute and like fine. But like I said, if you don't have a sewing machine, don't worry, this isn't the method. So if you do have a sewing machine and want to do it this way, so what I did was I took 3 pages and folded them together, and they're just printer paper. I watched a video and they had like 20 pages. I don't know if I would do 20, because if you do 3 pages, you're getting 1, 2, 11, 12. Yeah, you're getting 12 pages in this journal, which is a lot. So like 4 pages per page. So even like if you did 5 pages, that's 20 pages in a little journal, which is just like cute for I don't know, if you just have like a weekend event where you want people to journal and stuff, this could be really cute. And then the cover was just cardstock that I had on hand. So this is definitely a method that you can do. Fold 5 papers together, and they were just printer paper, and then get a piece of cardboard, and that can be like your cover, and then sew it. And you can obviously like add to the cover. I didn't add to the cover for this one because this was just my tester one. Okay, so for this last attempt, this bullet journal was a pre-made bullet journal, so I had to print the pages, and like I printed them in a really funky way. If you're like, wait, how did you print them so that like the pages were in the correct order? That took some figuring out. But like I said, you can just use blank paper, or if anything, if you want it to be a lined journal, you could take printer paper and you could print lines on it front back so that you have lined paper. Or if you want it to be a dot grid bullet journal, then you could just print dot grid pages on the front and back of your pages that you're folding over. Would be my suggestion to just like keep it super simple, right? We're not being a perfectionist here. But literally, if it's just a journal for whatever, just like leave it blank. You don't even have to skip the step where you're printing stuff, because if that would require you to have a printer, which I do have. The requirements for this would be printer paper, cardstock, which is honestly optional, but cute if you want it to look like kind of that it has a cover, an embroidery needle, and some thread. Okay, so I printed the pages in the correct order so that when they folded, it was like in the right order. I folded those papers in half. I printed the cover on my cardstock, which my printer was able to do as long as I like pushed the paper down really good. And so then I had the cover, and then I folded that and put that on the outside. So yeah, again, at this point, if you wanted to, you could just sew it. Literally all I did was like, I started a little bit lower and I backstitched, and then I went all the way down, and then I backstitched, and then I took it off. So really easy to sew, except for I just haven't sewn in a long time, and my sewing machine like sort of stopped working / ran out of thread. So I was like, okay, we are not plan B. So this is plan B. So then what I did was once I folded it over, I took an awl. If you have an awl, I would use an awl, but like that's a fancy bookbinding thing, which I'm going to get into. So I just took my Cricut tool. I don't even know. So this is a tool I use with my Cricut that usually like I weed the vinyl if I'm ever like printing / cutting really intricate vinyls. I'll like get the little like stickers out that aren't supposed to be a part of the design with this, but it happens to be pretty sharp. So that's what an awl would be used for, is to make holes for my binding. I just poked 6 holes in like the middle crease of the pages. So 2 at the top, 2 in the middle, and 2 at the bottom. So like I said, this is my like, it's not even embroidery thread, it's kind of just like cute. It was a pain to thread. I had to like use tape to thread it every single time. But you could use embroidery thread. You could probably just use like little thin thread, but I would use something maybe a little bit thicker if you could, just like make it cute even. And so then you start from the inside and you put a little knot, thread it in and out. This was actually my final attempt was going to be staples, and that was not working, but I was like, oh, I kind of like recreated staples here. So yeah, I weaved in the top, and then I weaved in the middle one, and then I weaved in the bottom one, and then I tied it off at the bottom. Okay, so going back, once I poked the 6 holes in, I kind of went in and like a little bit harder, made the holes a little bit bigger so that I could just like easily thread my needle through, because it's a pretty thick needle. Yeah, find something pokey in your house. This was the tool I used. If you want to buy something, I think the correct term is an awl, which is what I'm going to get into. And there you have it. There is my mini bullet journal completed. I think it's super cute. I think it's super simple. I hope you have the things on hand to make this. So this, I would say, is just like basics of like beginner step of bookbinding. I've been researching bookbinding a lot because I have a confession. I really want a hardcover bullet journal again for next year, and the hardcover at the manufacturer that I use I do not like, so I've decided I'm going to make my own, which is like almost like a back step, right? Like I love my business because I just like create it digitally, I guess you'd say, and then just like send it off and someone actually like ships and prints and binds it. But I'm going backwards here, and I'm gonna like physically make my bullet journal, which technically I guess if I wanted to, I could make it a pre-made one because I could print on the pages that I'm going to be binding my bullet journal with, but I don't even want to do a pre-made one. I love setting up my spreads. I miss it. I've missed it this year. I think at the beginning of the year I felt like I had to be using a pre-made bullet journal because I was selling it, but I'm like, I finally freed myself from like having to do that. Like, no, that's not me. Like, I am not my ideal client. I want to bullet journal from scratch, a blank bullet journal. I will help anyone who wants to bullet journal speed up the process by doing a custom / pre-made one, because I think those are super helpful and awesome if you don't want to be spending the time making the spreads, which is a lot of work, but I enjoy it. I like miss it. So stay tuned for that when I have that finalized. That one I might be a little bit more perfectionist on, but no. I'm gonna stick with my mantra, like, let's not be a perfectionist here, because I already feel like it's putting off me even just like ordering the supplies to do it. So like, I really don't even, well, I do. So the supplies that I know I need / want would be like, I actually want an awl so that I can like make it a little bit easier. I would love a book binding like press. I found some kits on Amazon that I'm gonna like buy and just start that. And so there's just a couple things like that like, it would be nice to have these officially. And then like there's a certain paper that I want that I think I'm gonna order. So actually, if you've made it this far and you're listening, and you're someone who actually is like me, where you want a hardcover bullet journal, let me show you an example. Like basically this, I don't think it'll be exactly the same, but like, I love how this is hardcover. I think I can make this. The pages are really thick, which I'm going to do for myself. They lay flat when you open it. Yeah, I'm getting really excited to do this. So I'm gonna make myself this, and if you're watching and you're like, wait, I want one too, reach out to me and I would give you like a super low price for like, I don't know, being kind of like the tester with me. I would make like maybe 2, one for me, one for you. So if that's you, let me know, and I can like, you can like pre-order one, and like it'll be super cheap because it'll be like my first one. But I'm very excited to get into this and try and do this before the new year so that I am using a bullet journal like this next year. So hopefully that helped you to make a little DIY bullet journal for yourself, or just like a journal in general, or like make it with friends. We have more bullet journaling videos coming up later, so be sure to be subscribed if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram at createdbyKristaKirky, and you can see what other offers and things I have to stay in touch with me. We'll see you next time. Bye.